Okay. So till that ma'am is rejoining, we will move towards the next presentation. For the next presentation, I would like to call Dev Agarwal, Bridging Sustainable Innovation, Developing a Regulatory Sandbox Model for FinTech Products. I request the presenter to kindly proceed with the presentation.
Yes, sir. Am I audible to you?
Yes, you are audible there.
Yes, sir, you are audible to us.
Sir, my slides are visible to you, my presentation.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon to one and all present over here. Myself, Dev Agarwal, and thank you for giving us opportunity to present our paper in front of you. My paper ID is 35, and our paper title is Bridging Sustainable Innovation, Developing a Regulatory Sandbox Model for FinTech Products. Our authors are Vikram K, myself, and Jerus John Joseph. We are from Christ University, Delhi NCR campus, from School of Commerce, Finance, and Accountancy. Now moving towards. So what is Regulatory Sandbox? Regulatory Sandbox, it provides a controlled environment where fintech companies can test their products in efficient and effective manner under the guidance of government regulatory bodies. The main purpose of this is to provide innovations for the development of country and to check safety to the users of the country. The regulatory sandbox was first introduced in 2016 by the UK government known as FCA. And in India, we have three regulatory bodies known as RBI, SEBI, and IRDAI. They have their own models for the regulatory sandbox model, which is introduced in 2019. Can you see these two pictures in that children are playing in the artificial sandbox and under the guidance of their parents? Why? Because children are scared to go to the real beach sand, so that their parents, what they did, they have made a artificial sandbox in the backyard so that their children are not afraid from them, and after that they can go to real beaches. So in that, the children's are the fintech companies and the regulatory bodies are parents in the same way. These are the top fintech companies for top fintech countries that have the top fintech acceptances. The first one is South Korea that have 36 product acceptances. Second one, India, that is 33 product acceptances. Third one is Saudi Arabia that has 30 products acceptances. And the fourth one, United States, that have 22 products acceptances, and so on. These are the acceptances by the help of the regulatory sandbox models approach. Now going to the literature review part. The first paper is an overview of regulatory sandbox regimes that is written by Jonathan R. Everhart. In this paper, it have introduced about the regulatory sandbox model, how they work, and what are the eligibility criteria for the different countries. It also did a comparison analysis between the UK governments, Singapore, Australia, and Hong Kong governments, how they use their regulatory sandbox model, and what are the approaches and what are the eligibility criteria. Moving towards to understand the Indian regulatory sandbox model and to grab the analysis for the Indian regulatory sandboxes, we have two papers. The first one is SEBI Sandbox Regulatory Framework Testing in the Arm Before Battle. In this paper, it is written by Iyer A 2021. In this paper, Iyer A has given a model of SEBI regulatory sandbox model, how it works, and what are the SEBI criteria for the regulatory sandbox model. In the second one, in the second paper, the regulatory sandbox explained. Once again, regulatory sandbox explained how RBI is moderating fintech disruptions in BFSI. It is written by Shrish Kapoor. In this paper, Shrish Kapoor has told about the RBI's regulatory system, how the RBI works for the regulatory sandbox model, and what are the criteria for the RBI to select the regulatory sandbox models. Now moving towards our literature review part. For the understanding of the UK sandboxes, we have two papers by the help of the Gurillo Cornell 2020 and by the Jeong James Gu. They have written a regulatory sandboxes and fintech funding evidence from the UK And the second paper, the impact of the regulatory sandbox of the fintech. They have provided an overview and the analysis of the regulatory sandbox model of the UK sandbox government. And the third one, that is Singapore sandboxes. For the understanding of the Singapore sandboxes, we have Singapore approach to develop and regulate fintech, which is written by PS Fan in 2017, and the fintech regulatory sandbox guideline journal that is written in 2020. In this Singapore model, in this paper, the target audience and acceptance and approval process have been shown in the uh, Singapore government, that is known as MAS. And the last two are the most important part, that is sustainability and the feasibility. That is most important for the regulatory sandboxes that has to be implemented for the regulatory sandbox model to analyze the fintech companies. That is written by GBT Link R 2018 and the World Bank in 2020. In the World Bank 2020, they have also shown a four main major points that is required in the sustainability and feasibility analysis of the regulatory sandbox model. The first one, why do we need a sandbox? Second, what is our specific objectives of the sandbox? And what are the capabilities? Like, do we have the capabilities of that sandbox to regulate or not? And when and should be sandbox be deployed? When and where should the sandbox should be deployed? These are the four questions raised by the World Bank in the feasibility analysis and sustainability analysis of the regulatory sandbox model. And it also provide details regarding the failure of the UK sandbox products without right feasibility analysis and sustainability analysis. Now, moving toward our research method, our paper is descriptive by paper. I have done a comparison analysis of UK, Singapore, and India regulatory sandboxes. We have identified a gap in Indian model, absence of feasibility analysis and sustainability assessment in the existing model of the country. And fourth one, proposed tailored model. We have proposed a tailored model according to our Indian, adding feasibility and sustainability assessment. And the last one, the paper also discussed about the benefits of the tailored sandbox model to the regulator firm as well as the end users of the product. These are the differences which we have drawn according to our research paper, according to our analysis. The first one, United Kingdom, second comparison done with Singapore, and the last one's India. As you already know that UK is the most introducer of the regulatory sandbox model that is established in May 2016, Singapore November 2016, and India November 2019. Duration of testing phase according to the different criteria according to the different countries. UK has 41 weeks of testing phase. Singapore has 39 weeks according to the case by case basis. Means according to the services what they are providing, like fintech companies, what services they came up with or what are the products they came up with. In India, they have 31 weeks for the testing phase. Post-testing support, United Kingdom has extensive support, Singapore has limited support, and India has moderate support. Success rate, according to the latest data, 90% continuous operation after implementing sustainability and feasibility analysis in their testing phases by the United Kingdom. Singapore has moderate success, and India has early to judge. Number of firms applied, United Kingdom over 170 firms applied, Singapore has 50 firms across 6 cohorts applied, and India has over 130 firms applied. This is a proposed model that is known as SFR sandbox model. S represents sustainability, F represent feasibility, and R represent regulatory. That is known as sustainability feasibility regulatory sandbox model. In this model, we have two testing phases. The first one is pre-testing phase, and the second one is post-testing phase. In the pre-testing phase, we have three criteria. The first one, preliminary assessment. Second one, application assessment. And the third one, testing design phase. In the preliminary assessment, it takes max to maximum 30 days to do this process. In this process, the fintech companies have to register their registration process, information of the enterprise they have to give, bank account details of the financial company, credit scoring, application intention, what are the application intentions, what are their main objectives, And the last one, feasibility analysis. Is this product reliable or not? In the second criteria, application assessment. Like in this application assessment stage, the government regulatory bodies check what are the genuine there is a genuine need of the product or not, what are the objective oriented with that, benefits to the users by using that regulatory and by using that product or services that is given by fintech regulatory companies, customer safeguard, outcomes defined, like what are the outcomes after testing that product, proof of concept, and assess sustainability. In the third criteria, that is testing phase. In this, it is according to case by case basis that is applied by the Singapore government also, that is according to the product services. So we are also applying here case by case basis in that according to the product and according to product and services. And accordance with that, we have made risk management strategies, how in the testing phase, how to manage that risk, how to mitigate that risk, and determine that success rate, like what are the success percentage or not. And the fifth one, testing parameters, and the last one, materials, if there is a material change required in that or not. In the second phase, that is known as testing phase, that is final approval also. In this phase also, we have three criteria. That is, first one, testing, second one, evaluation, and the last one, validation. In the testing phase, it takes approx 120 days, but according to the case by case basis, it can be extended to 120 days more. Like in this, regulatory bodies check that what adequate it in the regulatory sandbox adequate progress is there or not, justification of objective that is given by fintech companies, what are the risks observed by the regulatory bodies, and what are the monthly reports, exit strategy, and lastly we do feasibility analysis and sustainability analysis. In the evaluation stage, it takes 30 days. In this phase, we do a proper audit of that regulatory sandbox. We do a monitor and review of that product and services that is provided by the fintech company. What are the users' feedback, align with the objectives or not, and assess the sustainability. In the last phase, that is validation phase. In that phase, we satisfy the standards. We see the comply with rules and regulations or not, comply with legal framework or not, and what are the feasibility assessment testing phase more. It takes about 30 days to do that validation and evaluation phases. Now moving towards feasibility. So what is feasibility? And why do we need the feasibility analysis in our regulatory sandbox model? So feasibility analysis is required to check the seriousness, that is main objective of the fintech companies, and to check the reliability, like there is a genuine need in the market of that product or not, or service or not. So that is why it is required feasibility analysis for a regulatory sandbox model. And in the sustainability part, in this, the regulatory sandbox model checks the survival rate in the real market for the regulatory product or the services that is provided by the fintech companies. In this, they in this regulatory bodies check the survival rate that they can survive or not in that real market if after going to the going to the artificial stage to the real market stage. These are the benefits to the regulatory sandbox models according to the regulators, according to the firms, and according to the consumer.
Sorry to interrupt, but you have 2 minutes to conclude.
Okay, sir. So, according to the regulators, it gain insights into emerging fintech technologies, promote communication, and to test the efficiency. For the firms, they have helped in attracting investors as a result of thorough regulatory credibility, helps in gathering feedback, and to reduces the burden of the risk. And for the consumers, it increases access to new financial products and services. Increased competition will result in more choices and potentially lower cost options, and to promote introduction of safer products into the market. Now, these are the suggestions to maintain international standards. That is, first one, conduct industry consultations with the fintech companies, like what they can improve in the regulatory sandbox model or not. Partner with leading global financial regulators like FCA, MAS of UK government and Singapore government for the more effective and more efficient regulatory sandbox model. And last one, that is harmonize the jurisdictions of the Indian regulatory bodies, Like we have three bodies, that SEBI, RBI, and IRDA, and they have all three different models. So by this, they have no means of communication between them, what they are doing and what they're not. For the regulatory sandbox to judge the regulators. So by the basis of that, we made a basic model for the means of communication and to judge a regulatory sandbox for the skepticism analysis. What are the future scope of studies and conclusion? Integration of sustainable assessment. Like we in this paper we can do a sustainable assessment in a more depth knowledge, with that models and criteria. Sector specific sandbox model. In this we can make a sector specific according to the product, according to the different services that is provided. We can make the model according to that. So there is a basic criteria for that products and services. Refining sandbox design choices. According to the designs, according to the products, we can make a design, we can make a choices for the refining sandbox. And the last one, that is performance evaluation of regulatory sandbox. We can set a criteria, or we can set a benchmark for a performance evaluation of that regulatory sandbox model approach for the products and the services that is provided by fintech regulatory companies. These are the references which we use in our paper for the analysis.
Okay, Dev, your presentation is done.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Dev, I have one or two questions. Like, first one is, how can regulatory sandboxes be adapted to address region-specific sustainability challenges in the fintech sector? Particularly, I'm talking about developing countries.
In our developing countries, like ma'am, like UK is the most like UK in 2016 they have introduced the regulatory sandbox model, and they have faced the various different challenges and various different difficulties. That is also mentioned by World Bank. Like in 2020, World Bank has written a paper on that. They have mentioned that UK also faced the challenges because of sustainability and because of the sustainability and feasibility. So in that, India can do a partner. India can do a partnership with them to make a regulatory sandbox model, so that by it helps in developing countries to to make a more efficient and effective product, and to make a more to make a more defined regulatory sandbox model for their approach, because of their because they have faced that difficulties in that past. So we can't do that in that future also.
Okay, okay. Based on your answer, I have one more question. How
Yes,
can
ma'am.
sustainability assessments be integrated into the testing phases of fintech products within regulatory sandboxes?
Like this is a not in a depth knowledge, but in a sustainability part, that it is a descriptive type paper, ma'am. So in this we can apply that sustainability phases. We can apply like in that last phase, that is, I can show you. Wait just a second. Hmm. In that last validation and the testing phase, sustainability analysis is required in that. So for that sustainability analysis, they can check that what are the there is a survival rate in the real market or not. According to the artificial environment, what they have seen, what have the testing design phases and all. According to that, they can set a criteria for the sustainability analysis part also.
Okay. As per this answer, again, last question, like what specific eligibility criteria should be considered? Last question.
What specific eligibility criterias,
Should be
ma'am? Can you?
considered in the pilot testing phases.
Okay, like eligibility criterias are defined in the preliminary assessment or application assessment, ma'am. Eligibility criterias, like they can, like any company, any fintech companies can come in that, but they have to pass that preliminary assessment and application assessment stage, so that the government and regulatory bodies have a specific testing design phases, so that they can continue with that fintech companies.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Now we are moving towards the next presentation. For the next presentation, I would like to call Ajay Lal for the paper title Building a Circular Economy, Drivers Impacting Concrete Upcycling in India demolition waste. I request the presenter to kindly proceed with their presentation.
Yes. Thank you so much, team. So, good afternoon, all. My teammate Uma and my guide Drisha is also here. I hope I am audible. Uma, can you please present? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Your screen is visible to us.
Yes. So, yeah, our paper is building a circular economy drivers impacting concrete upcycling in the Indian demolition waste.
Good afternoon, all. So I'll be introducing the topic. So, in order to tackle the environmental challenges, there's always a constant push for circular economy. The organizations are pushing for circular economy. So, in construction, construction and demolition waste is the main waste that ends up in landfill. So, we are analyzing the key factors that impact the concrete upcycling in India. So we are using influence analysis methodology to explore the factors like economic viability, environmental impact, and technology in driving concrete upcycling with the aim to promote circular economic principles in India's construction industry.
So, why this study at this point of time? Because if you see the Indian demolition waste industry, as per the latest study, 150 million tons of waste. That accounts, that's the official one. Actually, the real one is more than that. That accounts about 35% of the world's demolition waste. So, this study is of utmost importance for the effective management of construction and demolition waste to achieve sustainability in the construction industry. And if you take that, concrete and masonry is the major significant portion of the demolition waste in India. The increase in such waste in urban areas, especially like in the past few years, we have seen the trend of IT and other urban shift. So this has increase in the construction, and concrete and masonry is the major contributor to this demolition waste. And occurring at the structure's end of life, we propose to align this with circular economy principles by offering an opportunity to collect materials for reuse and repurposing.
So after analyzing the construction industry in India, we have selected 11 factors which we use for finding the impact it has on our concrete upcycling. So the first one is material composition and contamination level. So whenever a building is constructed, some of the organic materials like leaves, wood, and soil, as well as the chlorides and sulfides, contaminate the buildings. And the second one is the promotion of circular economic principle. So it is mainly focus on eliminating waste and pollution. So it follows a closed loop system where materials are recovered and recycled, which gives a helps in regenerating the nature. So the third factor we considered is the community revitalization and beautification. So it addresses the social economic challenges when we are using the construction waste. And the fourth one is the pollution prevention and soil health. Whenever we demolish a building, uh, we have the air pollution, which can lead to lung diseases, and also heavy metals and alkalis lead towards the soil and groundwater. So that is one factor we have considered. And the next one is affordable and accessible products. So we are converting the construction waste into planters, flower pots. So it will helps us to in the landscaping. And the uh, other factors are the consumer perception and market demand for upcycled products. Consumers are getting attracted to the idea of reducing waste and recycling. So we are trying to make the consumer perception and market demand for the upcycled product.
So the next is life cycle cost analysis. So if you see, our stakeholders consider the total cost of owning, operating, and maintaining asset. A product is not considered in buying or demolition alone. Entire life cycle, what costs they incur through that is considered through life cycle cost analysis. And government policies and incentives are coming up these days. The regulations, laws, and financial incentives that government encouraged to promote sustainable practices. The next, advanced sorting and segregation. Nowadays, cutting edge technologies like sensor based and robotics are also coming up to efficiently sort and separate construction and demolition waste, which enhances the recycling and reuse of materials. And it is inevitable to use data analytics and AI in any given field in these days. So we can forecast the precise amount of concrete and masonry required. That is also in use. And the next is innovative and sustainable processing techniques. New environmentally friendly methods for construction materials, such as upcycling waste to reusable components to reduce environmental impact, and promotion of sustainability is also considered as one of our major factors.
So,
Video.
so after So after considering these factors, we have come up with the questionnaire of 110, and we have given this questionnaire to experts who are working in construction industry in India for having an experience of two years and more. And after that, we have used the linguistic scale where we have given the solution like very high, high, medium, low, and very low scale. And we have collected these responses. So from 32 experts, and we have cleaned and finalized the data from 23 respondents, and we have converted these responses to grayscale. Uh, so these it was converted to grayscale to mitigate any biases stemming from the focus groups. So the scale and corresponding grayscale values are mentioned here. And after that, we have aggregated the values. The responses are consolidated with aggregation and through with addition operation of gray numbers, which was discussed above. And after that, we have whitenized the value, and the critical ideal and typical values were calculated, and it's shown in table 2. And the figure 2 mentioned here gives us the whitened influences based on the typical model. After that, we have calculated the direct influence coefficient using metrics. And then we have calculated the complete influence coefficient metrics. And figure 3 shows the graphical view of the most typical model. And after that, the influence coefficients are calculated, and the gray importance coefficients are calculated. Now, Ajay will be discussing the results.
Yeah, these are our major results. So, like we mentioned, we have identified 11 significant factors that influence advancement of circular economy in the upcycling of concrete in the demolition waste. So, our findings from the analysis show the Ginna tool shows that innovative and sustainable processing are the most crucial factor driving the Indian demolition waste, followed by secondly by the promotion of circular economy. So why innovative processing techniques? These techniques involve advanced sorting, crushing, grinding. The experts consider this as the major factor because some innovation in these will result in less wastage. They can use it for reusable materials, minimizing waste generation, energy consumption, greenhouse gas emissions. Secondly, the factor that came up was promotion of circular economy principles. Most of them are not aware of this, like the industry practitioners or those who are aware do not know how to implement it. So they consider this as another factor. This involves designing products for durability, recyclability, fostering stakeholder collaboration, incentivizing the use of recycled materials, and raising awareness, as I said, about the benefits of circular economy and how it is going to be fruitful in the long run in the construction industry. Next slide. Share. So these are the results. So all technical glitch. Trying to move to the next slide. Just resharing. Just resharing. Yes. So those were 10th slide. So after those results, further, yeah, this is so the upcycling concrete waste in India provides significant environmental and economic benefits such as resource efficiency, reduce environmental impact through innovative techniques like crushing and prefabrication, like I mentioned. But challenges like infrastructure gaps and low awareness still remain, like I mentioned. So also we need to emphasize on circular economy principles. The study advocates for design, innovation, disassembly, and reuse to maximize the material lifespan, like the life cycle cost analysis, like I mentioned, despite existing challenges. So the findings also highlights the need for stakeholders to embrace innovative process techniques and circular economy principles, emphasizing the collaboration between various factors that we identified, like government incentives and industry and academia should also industry and academia should also involve waste management and resource efficiency for a sustainable future in India's construction sector. Right. So the future research and limitations. So the major limitation that we had was we had to invest in potential through innovation, crushing and prefabrication. Our sample size was less, so we get more insights. We have more people. So future studies should aim to involve a more diverse range of stakeholders, including policymakers, academia, industry leaders, etc. And we need to also examine the obstacles in infrastructure public awareness that impede upcycling efforts. Yeah. So that's the future research, and these are the references that we used. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I request respected session chair, ma'am. Ma'am, do you have any questions?
Yes, Mr. Karthik, yes. I have two questions like Ajay and Uma. Nice presentation. The question is like, how can the findings of this study inform policymakers to enhance sustainable practices in construction and waste management in India?
Yeah. So like we said, from our GINA analysis, we can see that when you go to the results, from the GINA analysis, we have validation that previous slide. The two factors that stood out to us, apart from government principles, those two factors, if you can see, are innovative processing techniques. If you, the academia and government can educate the existing stakeholders about what are the major thing available and also invest in future innovation on the construction industry, how grinding can be done, how sorting can be done, how crushing can be done. More investment the government can focus on that area, and also promotion of circular economy. Like I mentioned, they can incentivize the use of recycled materials for major construction industries. Government can provide insight information where they are willing to promote circular economy if they get some incentives. Did I answer you?
Okay, fine. But you did not discuss like what role do technology or innovation play in improving the efficiency of concrete upcycling in Indian demolition waste?
So
Hi,
basically,
ma'am.
we are focusing if our questionnaire included what are the factors that these experts think might contribute more to their decision making. That was the focus. Like this was two things that came up. Like how technology used, we did not delve deeper into that. On how what are these experts thinking? Okay, this will contribute more. So we were collecting what do they think is the most important factors.
So,
This
what were the
one, two.
primary factors identified by Gina?
That is this too, innovative processing techniques and promotion
And
of circular economy.
okay, fine. Mr. Karthik, we can go ahead.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Now we are moving towards the next presentation. For the next presentation, I would like to call Aditya Jay Kumar Sharma for the paper title Revolutionizing Healthcare, Unleashing the Potential of Artificial Intelligence for Beyond Conventional Advancements. I request the presenter to kindly proceed with their presentation. So let's move toward the next presentation as the presenter is facing some issues. For the next presentation, I would like to call Kamya Sharma for the paper title A Holistic Evaluation of Consensus Mechanism to Address Interoperability, Security, and Scalability Challenges. I request the presenter to kindly proceed with their presentation.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am,
Kamaya.
you're audible to us.
Yes. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Myself, Kamya Sharma, and my co-author name is Dr. Monica Ghelawat. Today, my presentation topic is a holistic evaluation of a consensus mechanism to address interoperability, security, and scalability challenges. Agenda of today's presentation is abstract, motivation, introduction, adaptation of consensus mechanism, blockchain dilemma, literature survey, conclusion, and references. I will start with abstract. This paper actually addressed the challenges of in industry to 4.0. Challenges are like interoperability, latency, and security. As we know that centralized systems have very disadvantages because we store our data in centralized way. So we need a secure decentralized architecture where we are using blockchain technology for storing our data in decentralized manner. But once we store our data in blockchain technology, there are three major issues: scalability, security, and interoperability. So we will discuss about all this problem in this paper.
Yeah. Kamya, you are not audible.
I think so, ma'am, she's again facing some network issues.
Right.
Shall we proceed forward?
Yes, that is better.
Thank you, ma'am. So, for the next presentation, I would like to call S. Rajaprakash for the paper title The Development of Security Algorithm RB24-1 using the multi-way path over the distributed ledger infrastructure. I request the presenter to kindly proceed with their presentation. I think the presenter is not able to recognize it and having facing some network issues. So we are moving towards the next presentation. For the next presentation, we would like to call Priyanka Joshi for the paper title Unveiling the Fusion of Technology, Investigating IoT's Role in Alchemizer Care. I request the presenter to kindly proceed with their presentation. To the next presentation. For the next presentation, I would like to call Kamya Sharma for the paper title A Holistic Evaluation of Consensus Mechanism to Address Interoperability, Security, and Scalability Challenges. Ma'am, you can
Yes,
proceed
sir.
with your presentation now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, actually, there is some issue. So I will start with adaptation of different type of consensus mechanism where blockchain 1.0 it is introduced in 2009, which is specially for financial transactions, and consensus mechanisms are used in blockchain 1.0 or POW or proof of work. In 2010, blockchain 2.0 is introduced, which is specially for smart contract purpose, and consensus mechanism algorithms are used in blockchain 2.0 or POS, delegated proof of stake, and PBFT. In 2015, blockchain 3.0 is introduced, and which is specially for decentralized applications, which is where we can do scalable transactions or interoperability is also possible. Algorithms which are used in blockchain 3.0 are proof of capacity and proof of bond. In 2018, blockchain 4.0 is introduced, which is specially for cross-chain integration, and algorithms are used direct acyclic graph and zero knowledge proofs. So here we discuss about what is interoperability. It means ability to share data among different type of blockchain network. It means we can share our data from private to public blockchain network. But the problem arises when we share our data from one blockchain to another blockchain. There is a lack of standardization, consensus mechanism, and smart contract compatibility. Existing solutions that are available are atomic swap, notary scheme, HTLC, which is hash time lock contract. But when we see different type of existing solutions, if we focus on interoperability, there is the issue of scalability and security. Some authors, if we discuss about first paper, here author analyzed different type of interoperability solutions. But when we use a layer 0 solution or any other algorithm like distributed Oracle network, there is a issue of latency, because whenever the node increase, latency issue arise. In second paper, author it provide different type of interoperability solution for cross-chain bridge and DApp, which is decentralized application ecosystem. But again, there is a scalability and security issue. This author, which discuss about multi-token proof of stake algorithm, but in this, when we use this multi-token algorithm, it is very complex algorithm, so scalability issue arise in this algorithm. And last paper where author discuss about cross-chain communication and atomic cross-chain communication. But in this paper, when we use atomic swap or cross-chain, actually there is no implementation of security or scalability. So we can say when we maintain interoperability of a blockchain network, or when we share data from one blockchain network to another blockchain network, security and scalability can be compromised. Second one is this is security. Security means unauthorized user cannot access our data. So when we share our data, when we wanted to share our data in a secure way, there are various challenges like 51% attack. It means manipulating manipulating transactions with majority control, because we know that miner verify the transactions and miner have full control on our transactions. So if they have 50% power, they can manipulate our transactions. Double spending attack and Sybil attack is also there. Then the existing solutions for security are cryptographic quantum algorithm and multi-party ECDS algorithm. But when we use the security algorithm, again there is the issue of interoperability and scalability. Like first author, which is discussed about SHA-256 hashing algorithm. But definitely we can secure our data. But when we focus on security, there is some latency issue or interoperability issue, because we are securing our data, but we are not able to share our data from one blockchain to another blockchain network. We are securing our data on one network only. Where second author, which use multi-party ECDSA algorithm, it enhances security, but again it limits the interoperability. This author, which discuss about PBFT, practical bunch tolerance algorithm, here we can maintain the security, but again, there is a issue of scalability. This author, which focus on consensus algorithm, which combine error correction code and hash entropy. But this author does not mention any interoperability point or any scalability point by using some quantum consensus algorithm. The last author, which proposed quantum consensus algorithm, which enhances the encryption using some quantum measurement. But again, there is no clear idea about scalability or how can we maintain scalability or interoperability in entire network. And the third one is scalability. It means ability to handle data in when increasing number of transactions are there. But when we focus on scalability, again, there is a problem of latency. It means if we are increasing the number of transactions, there is the issue of throughput. There is the issue of confirmation time. Existing solutions which are available in scalability, like sharding, layer 2 protocol, off-chain methods are available. But here again, some authors are there who present their paper based on scalability. But again, there are some limitations, because when we focus on scalability, again, interoperability and security is also a concern. So some authors which focus on power consumption, as we can see the second author, which reduced power consumption by 255%, and it increased execution time by 338%. But again, there is a issue of interoperability. It means we are scaling our transaction on one network, but once we wanted to share our data from one blockchain to another blockchain network, we cannot scale our transaction, because there is a problem of different type of consensus algorithm are there at different type of blockchain network. So we cannot we cannot maintain interoperability in this case. Where third author, which evaluate the performance based on some attack scenario, but it does not focus on security, or it does not focus on interoperability. Next author, which focus on off-chain solution, he uses some IPFS algorithm for sharing data. But in this case, again, security is if we are sharing our data using IPFS. So again, there is a issue of interoperability, as well as we can say there is a issue of scalability also. And the last author, which improve the scalability, but he does not maintain some security analysis. It does not maintain any security in network, and it does not also, he does not address the interoperability. In this way, we can see if we focus on one aspect, is suppose if we focus on interoperability, other two aspects like security and scalability can be compromised. So conclusion of this paper, it provides the challenges and potential solutions for these three trilemma like interoperability, scalability, and security. But it also suggests to choose a right consensus algorithm which can maintain these three aspects, or which can maintain interoperability, security, and scalability in blockchain networks. These are the references of my paper. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Kamya, I have one doubt. Like, as per your presentation about literature search, cross-chain communication is a problem in interoperability. Am I right?
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then what cryptographic techniques are employed within the consensus mechanism to ensure the secure cross-chain communication?
Ma'am, actually, right now they are using SHA-256 algorithm. We can right now we can use some other security algorithm like multi-factor authentication also is also available. But actually, I'm working on interoperability. Actually, I'm doing my PhD in interoperability. So basically, I have seen that once we share our data from one blockchain to another blockchain, there are some security issues are there, or we can say when we transfer our data from one blockchain to another blockchain, different, because we know that at different blockchain network we have different type of consensus, okay, mechanism, or different type of consensus algorithm. There are some different type of security algorithms, so they does not match, and we have some security issues.
Okay, right. I have one more question. Like, what are the key factors that determine the balance between decentralization and scalability within the proposed consensus mechanism or algorithm?
Ma'am, actually, there are various techniques. Like I know one of that, which is commit reveal technique. It means we can secure our transaction in commit. It means when we wanted to share our data, we use some oracle mechanism, which is a mediator between, or we can say which is a mediator between two blockchain networks. So firstly, we transfer our data in oracle. Actually, it handles the transaction in secure way. Then we transfer our data oracle to second blockchain network.
Okay, fine.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Now
Thank
we
you,
are
sir.
moving towards the next presentation. For the next presentation, I would like to call Sivapriya Gopakumar for the paper title Empirical Research on the Efficiency of Educational App for Students, a Parental Perspective. I request the presenter to kindly proceed with their presentation. I request the presenter to kindly proceed with their presentation.
Karthik, Mr. Karthik, I think this presenter is not with like this 10A track.
Yes, ma'am. She is from 8A. She was not
Okay,
able to present at that time due to some issues. So
right,
she has been given this slot.
right, right.
Thank you, ma'am.
Am I audible, ma'am? Then if talking about learning apps, we grab the rapid growth of learning apps as educational tools has increased integration in both home and school environments. Many of the parents use it as a educational tool to often
Sorry to interrupt, ma'am, but
support.
we are only able to see the title slide.
Sorry, sir.
Yeah, ma'am. Now it is visible. Ma'am, you can proceed.
Continues. Can you see this?
Yes, ma'am. Now it is visible.
Okay. So many of the parents use these apps as supplementary educational tools or as a supplementary learning method to provide additional practice in various subjects for their kids. However, the efficacy of these apps from parental perspective is a critical factor. And even though many studies have been conducted about online learning, few studies were about its challenges, and only few studies measures its efficiency and the challenge faced while using these online apps. So the main questions discussed here are how parents perceive the chances of using these apps, if these individual apps are being used to support students' education, and the concerns about the app quality, screen time, and overall impact in learning. So here I would like to say some of the differences between traditional learning and learning through educational apps. In traditional learning, it's physical classroom. We have a face-to-face interaction with mentors, so we can clarify our doubts, and we have structured tools. It is a teacher-centered model, whereas learning through apps is a digital environment. It is a self-centered activity. And while comparing with the traditional learning, the hard for the students to organize group projects and quizzes is flexible compared to the traditional learning. Then here is some of the literature reviews. The 2007 Center for Sustainable Development encompasses objectives such as promoting health, well-being, fostering growth, and reducing inequality, ensuring quality education, and building sustainable cities and communities for humanity. Development in learning and development progressions help the students to gain better understanding and also assist the improvements in that. History suggests that the technological innovation failed to match with the real performance. Online resources serve not as a necessity, but also as an opportunity to enrich the learning experience of students. They enable instructors to streamline lecture time and encourage students to approach learning in innovative ways while using the about or some new ideas so that we can easily memorize the topics. And lack of sufficient supervision from teachers can also lead to difficulties in students' concentration, or it may create lack of discipline. When the objectives of the study is examining the impact of apps on students from the parental viewpoint and the challenges associated with the learning apps according to parents. And here, the sample size I have taken as 100, and I use the judicial sampling, and the population is parents of 10 and 1200 students. And I have given questionnaire to them, and the scope of this is examining the challenges incurred during the usage of the app and overall satisfaction level, and knowing the parental opinions about these applications. And this study I have conducted within the state of Kerala, in South Kerala. Limitations during this study is lack of digital literacy by parents. Even though I have done the questionnaire, many of the parents were not able to understand the question. They are weak in English language, and some of the parents also lack of response from the parents is also another aspect I have faced. And the analysis is done within a short period of time. So time limit is also a constraint in the study. So the data interpretation is the frequency of usage of learning app. Majority of the students use the app every day. About 30% use it every day and 29 weekly. And only few students use app occasionally. And majority of the parents says that the app usage was effective for the child's entrance or public examinations. This analysis table can also shows that. And majority of parents the opinion that the content is standard, and it also increased the education knowledge level of their kids. So the graph that shows the result also provides flexibility, and some of parents are of the opinion that it affects the students' health, because when using this app for hours, they are using mobile phones or laptop for hours to study. As the screen time is increasing, affects their health. And the satisfactory level of parents about the service, cost, and quality, etc. of the app. Graph, it is seen as many of the parents are satisfied about the service, quality, etc. But of them are cost, and face many constraints, the quality of the video, and fixed timings or regular tasks that may cause the absence of not able to attend the class, make them it make their studies a little bit backward. And here is the data analysis. Here we have found that they face many problems or many challenges, including motivation, digital literacy, and technical gaps, person interaction, abundant and lack of discipline. And here, the analysis, I have done one sample t-test. All these problems have been, all these challenges have been faced by the students in their learning through online or educational apps. And this is the analysis part. Hope it's visible to you guys. And here, in the first hypothesis, the study says that the motivational problem is causing ineffectiveness of learning on students with a mean 0.52 and t-value 5.976, which is greater than 0.01. It says that it affects their studies. And in the second hypothesis, that is digital literacy and technical issues. Major of students face these issues while learning. All these hypotheses I have said says that affects the learning of the students. These are the findings I have got. Many of the parents are of the opinion that the quality of the video is not standard, and the recorded videos, they have been used, these recorded videos for future, and it may not be a valid content for the future. As the syllabus is changing, it won't be usable for the students. And 57% each of these students are regular and systematic users of the app. And 30% are regular users, and only 45% opinion that doesn't provide flexibility. For some apps, it provides flexibility. Students can learn it when they are free or in their leisure time. But a few apps have fixed time schedules, and they teach the topics on only that schedule. And half of the population is satisfied with the services of the apps. More than half of the parents find it difficult while purchasing the app. And even though if they purchase the app, they find it difficult as the quality of video may not be accurate, and due to low quality of the video, it may be hard for the students understand quality. And many of the teachers use whiteboards while teaching, and if the quality of the video is not proper, then it will affect the children in learning. They won't be able to understand what's written in the whiteboards and all. And 60 out of 100 students are capable to study by themselves, and only 34% students are capable to study without any distraction. It shows that many of them
Okay,
start
Siva Priya, you can
studying or
conclude. You can conclude.
okay, ma'am. So the findings, then conclusion. Despite the flexibility and convenience offered by learning apps, parents often encountered numerous challenges while utilizing them. And this study
Okay.
highlights that significant parents face technical issues and distraction during the studies. Affordability
Okay,
is another major concern.
Siva Priya, you can conclude. You can conclude. Because your
The
voice is
study
not
indicates that,
audible. It's breaking. Please conclude.
ma'am,
Your voice is
uh,
breaking. Please conclude.
okay, the study indicates that learning utilize issues with quality contributes parents' dissatisfaction, and they may not purchase the app. These apps may not effectively meet expectations.
Okay. Siva Priya, I
And
have one
such
question based on your presentation. Only one question. Like, how do educational apps support or hinder collaborative learning and group activities among students?
sorry, ma'am, can you repeat?
How do educational apps support or hinder collaborative learning and group activities among students?
In learning apps, they may give projects, and students have to contact the other students, or they have to form a maybe WhatsApp group or something, and they have to do such group projects by communicating with each other. It may not be as simple as others, because some of the students may not have digital literacy, and parents of the students may not have that educational qualification that they can themselves share their views or teach their students. So the students by themselves have to create some groups and discuss about the topics and have to do the group projects.
Okay, fine.
Okay, ma'am.
Mr. Karthik, can we conclude?
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We are moving towards the closing remark.
Okay. Thank you to all the presenters for their insightful and engaging presentations. Today's session has shed light on the critical role that information systems and emerging technologies like IoT, blockchain play in transforming industries, particularly healthcare. As we continue to navigate an increasingly digital future, it's clear that the integration of these technologies will drive efficiency, innovation, and sustainable growth. A special thanks to the conference organizers for putting together such a dynamic and engaging conference. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. I also sincerely thank our authors for their excellent presentation and contribution in this session, and all our participants for being a part of this international conference. I hope this session was informative enough. We, on behalf of the whole team, thank you for your support during the third version and all the previous two versions of the conference. We'll be happy to have you in the fourth version in 2025. All the presenters would be getting their digital certificates through email within 2 working days. Further, all the paper have already forwarded to the Springer. The publication will be live within 6 months. I also thank our session chair for chairing the session. This is, ma'am, the token of appreciation from the whole team of ISBM 2024 and Global Knowledge Research Foundation and partners. Ma'am, thank you for your valuable presence.
Thanks,
Now,
Karthik.
I, now I request everyone to kindly turn on their cameras for a quick virtual snapshot. Thank you, everyone. Stay safe, stay connected. Meet you in 2025.